If I'm being completely truthful with you, I've gone maybe a little bit Battletech crazy again recently. I got into the video game and did a short video about that as wanting something to satisfy Battletech cravings whilst not being able to get hold of product. I've been desperately seeking the game of Armoured Combat Box for over 6 months now and have just not been able to get hold of a copy. But I have been reading Shrapnel magazine like crazy. I've been painting my mechs in my own mercenary company scheme. Little urban mech here and a cataphract. It's really hard to remember all these mechs, isn't it? But my noobishness is going to come to an end because I've finally got one. And I am so excited. I cannot begin to explain to you how pleased I am to have finally managed to track down this product. So huge shout outs to the game shop in Aldershot. They are basically a Facebook based company. They don't really have a website. They only operate through Facebook. But if you're in the UK at the time of recording this, the owner did tell me they still have about 10 copies left. So if you're looking for a game of Armoured Combat Box, you can get one from the game shop in Aldershot. Now then, the logical thing to do is obviously to review this bad boy, to talk about the contents. That's going to be the first step, so that you, the viewer at home, can be informed of what comes in the game of Armoured Combat Box and why it's so important as a first purchase for Battletech players. There is a beginner box as well, it's important to note that, and that contains 2 mechs and some simplified rules. But in order to get into the full version of the game, this is the first product you're going to need to own. So most people recommend that you buy a beginner box. If you like it, that was only a 20 quid purchase, you buy the Game of Armoured Combat box. If you really like it and you want to get into it, you buy the Clan Invasion box. There's a bit of a beginner's roadmap there. The problem with that is that the beginner's box and the Clan Invasion box have both been really easy to get hold of for ages now, but this one in particular has been really hard to find outside of the US. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that is coming to an end now. So before we go and review this and look at it and see just how good it is as an entry product into Battletech, please remember to subscribe to the channel, to give the video a thumbs up, and do consider also supporting me on Patreon, because there's going to be something very cool coming up at the end of this video that will be for patrons. So here it is, one of the most mysterious, I guess, products in all of wargaming. So first and foremost, I guess the thing to point out to you is I paid RRP for this, and it was ordered from the game shop in Aldershot. So I'll probably mention that a bit more in the wrap up at the end, but that's where I got it from. That's what I paid for it. And yeah, this is exciting because it's an extremely hard to come by item at the moment, but it's also the only self-contained, proper, all-in-one box way to get into Battletech in any sort of simple, digestible, accessible way. So let's see what's inside. Let's see what it's all about. Let's see if we think it's worth the price tag of $59.99. We're gonna just delicately knife down one edge. Oh, I didn't do a good job of that. I'm not great at unboxing videos. There we go. Okay, we're in. We are in. Okay, so now that we are in, let's lift the lid. Let's see how it's going to let us in. I think it's going to let us in. Is it going to let us in? Oh, there's a lot of suction. There we go, we're in. Oh, it's very grippy. Right, so first of all, as with the beginner box, this was also a thing in the beginner box, you get a short story, a little novella. So very cool. I'm a big fan of this, actually. I think it's really cool. Instead of like filling the rule book with loads of lore that can make it a little bit harder maybe to see the rules, they instead go for the approach of giving you a little novella instead. So Colby's Commandos mission, Ice Storm by William H. Keith, one of the more prolific Battletech writers. Okay, cool, very happy to see. Data cards for the mechs that are included, including, importantly, data cards for Alpha Strike as well. There are two main ways to play Battletech, Classic and Alpha Strike. And obviously the fact that they include data cards for both variants, we'll open these and get them out. So you can see Battlemaster, Thunderbolt, Catapult, Wolverine, Shadowhawk, Griffin, Commando, Locust. And then again, some pilot cards for those 8 mechs for Classic. So these pilot cards, they're double-sided, and they just give you special abilities, basically. So in Classic, you would play using these, if you wished, and you could pick one of the 2 pilots on the card. You've got Luna Takanaka on the back of this one, Kim Yarrow on the front, for example. And you'd pick one, and you'd get that pilot's special pilot abilities. Whereas in Alpha Strike, these are actually, as I understand it, these are actually the stat cards, so it's a little bit different. Something I particularly love, obviously you get the mech miniatures, which is the next thing we're going to look at. I think this is a really well curated starter set of miniatures. Obviously I knew what this was before I got it, so we'll just quickly look through. And what I'll do is we'll go through them one at a time. So Battlemaster, first of all, there's the Battlemaster miniature. In fact, let's zoom in on it. There we are. So there's the Battlemaster miniature. Excellent representation. You know, looks like it looks on the card. One of the really, really popular heavier mechs. I believe it's an assault mech. I think it's in the assault category. So Battlemaster, really popular mech. Beautiful miniature. Excellent. The next one is Thunderbolt. Again, pretty popular mech. Really nice miniature to go with it. Let's get some slightly better focus on that. So again, nice popular mech. Not necessarily one of the really obvious choices, which again, I think is nice. If they'd have just gone with the 8 most obvious choices, that might have been a little bit boring. So perhaps not one of the most obvious choices, but still a great choice, still a popular choice. That's another excellent miniature. Then we're going to get, in fact, there's no point in me trying to keep these on camera because while I'm zoomed in, you're not going to be able to see them. So I'm just going to move them out of the way. The next one we get is a Catapult. So here we are. It's a Catapult. Again, one of the really popular mechs, but not maybe the most obvious. There are sort of other mechs in this long-range support category that are also popular, but the Catapult is definitely one of the ones that people really like, and so it goes in the starter box. Makes sense. Next we have the Wolverine. Wolverine is exceptionally popular with video game players, I know that. I'm not sure how popular it is in the tabletop, but it's one of the mechs you get access to fairly early in the video game, and it stays good for a very long time. So I know it's really popular with video game players. I particularly like it in the video game. Also, really good to see that they're doing stuff like this. These are often molded as one piece, but these legs are actually separate here, which just gives a little bit more definition to the crotch area. Don't really feel like I should be on video record stroking a small plastic man's crotch, but there we go. That's a decision I made today. So again, Wolverine, great choice. Belongs in the starter box, absolutely. Shadowhawk, very famous for being Grayson Death Carlisle's temporary mech. It's the mech that he's sort of piloting in the early part of the Grey Death trilogy. So again, because of that, because the Grey Death trilogy is such a popular set of novels for Battletech, again, really popular mech, therefore obviously belongs in the starter box. And I mean, it's a great mech. It's a great looking model. These things, they're not like as amazing as you might expect them to be on the table. Or at least in the video game. I've got much more experience of the video game than the tabletop game at this stage. They maybe underperform a little bit, but they have such an iconic look, and they're just cool, you know? Just like an arm gun and a big old shoulder-mounted cannon, and you just have to love it. You just can't help but love it. Again, really popular mech, belongs in the starter box, and so it's in the starter box. Griffin, where? Now that's interesting. The Griffin isn't in the starter box, so I'm not sure. No, there is definitely not a Griffin here. But there is a Griffin that comes in the beginner's box, so maybe that's why the card is here. But it's not a Griffin in this box. If I remember rightly, the Griffin model is exclusive to the beginner box. I think that is true. I might be wrong, but I think it is exclusive to the beginner box. And the good news is the beginner box is actually still pretty obtainable. So if you want the Griffin model, you may as well buy the beginner box because it's only 20 quid. You get another miniature in there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. I think it might be a Wolverine actually. Maybe a different sculpt to this one. I can't remember. But the Griffin is available because the beginner box is available, but it's not the model that's here. It's actually an Awesome. So this is the Awesome. Now, this, I believe, is Mr. Tex Talks Battletech's favorite mech. So, I mean, it can't be bad, right? It's if it's the favorite mech of, you know, the famous Battletech guy, then I guess it's got to be pretty good. But there doesn't appear to be an Alpha Strike stat card for it here. There might be a, in fact, I bet there is. Let's see here. Griffin, Shadowhawk, Wolverine, Catapult, Thunderbolt. Awesome, yeah. So there is a double-sided classic card for the Battlemaster and the Awesome. They're on the same card. Bit odd. So there is a card for the Awesome, but there's also a Griffin card, because I guess this is supposed to be a logical progression to the beginner box, so I guess they maybe are providing that under the assumption that you are going to upgrade from the beginner box to this, which is, you know, fine. I'm not against that assertion. It would be a logical path of progression. Really cool looking, super chunky, thick boy. You know, getting into the same kind of thickness as this is one of the mechs from the Comstar Command Level 2 Lance. I'm blanking on what it's called off the top of my head. I've got the data card nearby. It's a Night Star. I did have to check the data card for that. That's why there's a cut there. Yeah, so this is like one of the sort of really chunky boys from the Comstar Command Level 2. And the reason this is out actually is because there's a video coming up on it soon. But yeah, you know, we're talking big, thick, chunky boys, which is never a bad thing. And then there's a couple of lights as well. Commando, again, great choice, makes sense. It's a popular light mech. It's a light mech that appears a lot in the video game, so if you're getting into the Battletech tabletop because you played the video game a lot, you'll be very familiar with Commandos. You'll have seen a bunch of them. So it makes sense to be in the beginner box. The final light in the box is a Locust, and again, iconic. When I first got into Battletech, one of the first mechs that I wanted to 3D print was a Locust because it is so iconic. But where has my focus gone? Oh, it's just really low. Okay. Like, it's just one of those mechs that you associate with Battletech. You think of Battletech, you think of the Locust. I'm fairly sure it's appeared in one of the Mech Warrior video games, like in an FMV sequence or something. I 3D printed one of these really early on when I first got into Battletech, and it was, I think, the second or third mech I ever painted, and I loved it, and I still love it. I seem to have a bit of a thing for the light mechs, although my actual favourite mech is the Phoenix Hawk, and obviously that's one that has very limited options in miniatures. I've had to order the IWM Phoenix Hawk. I've actually ordered both variants from America. And yeah, I'm not happy at how much that's cost for me here in the UK, but that's the nature of importing anything. It doesn't really matter that it's Battletech, so it's not specific to this game. But yeah, the Locust is just one of those iconic designs. It's just a really good-looking, solid, and again, also appears in the early Grey Death trilogy, which again leads to it being popular with people that get in through the fiction. So, really happy with the choices of mechs. I actually think they're really smart choices. I think they make sense. I think they've chosen things that belong. Okay, so we've got mechs here. We've got fiction. We've got quick reference cards, which are always handy. We also get a Battletech primer. I guess this is probably going to be like, yeah, this is a quick, like, goes over the eras, shows you what the inner sphere looks like. So this is like just a quick primer on the setting, which is cool. Again, things like this, keeping them separate so that they don't interfere with the rules, allowing you to read it as its own standalone thing, and also just giving people a fairly superficial but fairly, at the same time, kind of comprehensive overview of the setting. I really like that. Just a nice, concise introduction. We then get the rulebook, which is actually fairly chunky. I believe there is a hardcover version of this in the wild as well, but I'm not sure where it lives. But again, this is going to tell you how to play. Movement, combat, yeah, it's all exactly how you'd expect. It's all done in order. Heat management, scenarios, yeah, just a really nice, easy to follow way to learn the rules. Love it. Really, really straightforward. Really nicely written as well. Super high contrast. Very, very easy to see what is being communicated. Great rulebook. Actually, I don't mind it being in softcover either. I like hardcover rulebooks. I like them kind of as collector's items, I guess. But a softcover rulebook like this is a lot easier to, you know, to just carry about with you if you want access to it. So I'm a fan of this. I don't know if it has like a guided game. A lot of games these days, they'll sort of, especially like the Corvus Belli stuff, they like to do a kind of guided scenario with you to take you through the early introduction of playing. I'm personally quite a fan of that. It's not necessarily super fun, but it is a very good way to learn. And then once you've done that guided scenario, then the playing starts, and that is super fun. So I'm not sure, but I'll give this more of an in-depth look. But at a glance, oh, this is cool. Are these plastics, or these are plastics? I thought these might be Iron Wind for a minute because they look so crispy, but they are plastics indeed. So yeah, you know, like I'll give this more of an in-depth read before I play because I need to learn the rules anyway. I've not, like I say, I've not really had much chance to play the tabletop yet. But at first glance, it's a well laid out, very clear and nicely written book. Like it's, you know, good choice of fonts, good choice of colors. Everything's very easy to pick out. I like it. I'm happy with that. Some record sheets. So these are record sheets specifically for the mechs that come with the game. It looks like, oh, different variants as well. That's cool. That's really cool. So, like, you've got the laser locust here, but then on the back of it, you've got the machine gun locust. So that's sweet. Record sheets. These, you are supposed to photocopy these. Obviously, these days, like, no one really uses photocopiers. So what's probably really actually going to happen is you're just going to download these. They're out there. There's even software that can generate these. So like you're not going to use this. Realistically, in you know the year 2022, they could probably leave this out and just put something in the book that says, you know, to get mech record sheets, go to this URL. Like, there are probably fewer people that have convenient access to a photocopier these days that are actually going to buy this product than there are people who don't have access to an internet connection and a printer. You know, that's just how the world is now. So of the customers who will buy this probably doesn't make as much sense as just putting a link somewhere, you know, telling people where to get it. And then a map pack. I did say to myself, oh, actually, multiple map packs. Oh, this is a surprise. Very cool. And also more stuff. Okay. So I did say to myself I wasn't going to open these out because there's obviously not space, but I do just want to quickly see how big they are. So I'll be right back. Okay, so they're A3 and they're grasslands on one side and desert on the other. This is actually really cool because if there are small scenarios that you can play on one of these, like a 2v2 or something, or a 1v1, that makes this game super coffee table friendly. And you know, if you watch this channel regularly, I really like coffee table friendly miniatures games. I'm a huge fan. And in fact, because these are only A3, most coffee tables will probably fit both maps. So even if you're playing whatever scenarios require you to use both maps, you're probably still fine. So I don't know what this is. Is this just? Oh, it's just a reference card. Okay, yeah, like movement and piloting, and it's like a quick reference card, and it's made of really thick card, like the same thickness of card as the card standees. That's interesting, I guess. And then again, if you've seen the beginner box, you'll be familiar with these. These are to denote hills and rough terrain and stuff like that. These are to denote water features, and then cardboard standees are quite a common thing in Battletech. These are an alternate way to represent mechs. So if you want more choice and you don't have enough miniatures, you can use these, and they're actually fine, you know? They're actually absolutely fine. The backs are actually printed with a rear view of the mech, which I like, you know, so it does look like front and rear facing. And yeah, I think these are actually pretty decent. Again, something I will say is there are 9 of these here, and Shadowhawk, Awesome, Battlemaster, Catapult, Commando, Wolverine, Locust. Why can't I remember off the top of my head what a Griffin looks like? I'm sure it's the one with the pod on its head. I'm pretty sure it's the one off the cover of the game. I'm pretty sure that this is a Griffin, which is is this like a variant? Or is it this one? I feel like one of these might be a Griffin, because there's 9 of them, right? And we already know that the Griffin is the extra mech that's in the beginner's box that you don't get in this box. So my mech ID skills are not great yet. Something you have to bear in mind, there are a lot of mechs, so many. And even the iconic ones, you know, you don't necessarily learn to visually memorize these things immediately. So please forgive me. If one of these is a Griffin and I'm being an idiot, then by all means let me know. I want to know, but oh no, this one's the Thunderbolt. I've just spotted that. This one's the Thunderbolt. So yeah, I think this might be the Griffin. Maybe this might be the Griffin. But yeah, it's a comprehensive box. It's got essentially everything that the beginner's box has got, plus 2 lances of mechs and a full rulebook. And that's kind of everything that you want, right? That's basically what you would ask for from a Battletech starter box. So yeah, let's go back to Top Cam and let's make some conclusions. So we have the basic game tools and stuff that we need. We have a little bit of fluff. We have 8 fantastic mechs that make perfect sense as first mechs for you to own. They're all popular, well covered in the lore, interesting mechs. It's a great box. I understand why so many people want it. And that's sadly also why it's selling out. So if you see a copy, get a copy, because it's really hard to get hold of, but the box is brilliant. I'm going to be going through some coffee table Battletech with Jenny, and hopefully she's going to enjoy it as well. She likes Aristea, which is also played on a hex grid and is also quite crunchy, so I have a feeling she might get a kick out of it. But before this video comes to an end, I wanted to do something special to celebrate, because I really am so happy to have finally tracked down a copy of this and to be able to start my journey proper into Battletech. Because I didn't just buy one of these boxes, now I bought 2. And we're going to be giving one away. So if you would like to win a copy of the Game of Armoured Combat box, drop a comment below telling me why you want it. Everybody that drops a comment telling me why they want it will be entered into a randomizer, but as a special bonus, if you are a member of my Patreon at any level starting from £1, you will also receive a bonus entry. I'll be drawing the winners for this around the end of the month. I'll give you about 2 weeks to get in, and then we'll get it drawn. It's going to be open to anyone, anywhere in the world, and well, those Patreon subscriptions, if you decide to make them, they'll help cover the postage, so that can be on me too. Folks, I really hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope that you'll consider giving Battletech a Game of Armoured Combat a go. It's a fantastic box. It's the perfect way to start playing Battletech. I'm really excited about it, and I hope you're excited about it and the potential to win a copy of it. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.